Guys, I have a sad truth to inform you of. I think Joe Biden is a Russian agent. Mm-hmm. That's right. At the very least, an asset of the Russian government or a useful idiot for the Russians. Sound familiar? So we got the story from Becker News. Stunned silence overseas after Joe Biden's bizarre reaction to killer Putin question. Joe Biden is proving to be the laughingstock of the NATO summit, although the embarrassing development is no laughing matter. CNN's chief national affairs correspondent Jeff Zeleny asked Biden a question about Vladimir Putin in Brussels. Biden's response was odd, to say the least. Quote, in a weekend interview, Vladimir Putin laughed at the suggestion that you called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he's a killer? Quote, and I will continue the trend of asking a second question, he continued. Do you believe that if he does agree to cooperate, then what kind of challenge do you find yourself in? How would you ever trust him? If Ronald Reagan said trust but verify, what do you say to Vladimir Putin? Zeleny asked. This was Biden's rambling response. Answer the first question, I'm laughing too, he said in an awkward silence. Well, look, he has made clear that the answer is I believe that he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there's certain things that he would or did do. But look, when I was asked a question on the air, I answered honestly, but it's not much of I don't think it matters a lot in terms. Okay, you get the point.
Oh my God.
So I'm not being serious when I say he's a Russian agent. I'm just making fun of the Democrats. But what about Joe Biden? He shuts down Keystone Pipeline and then he approves the Ukraine pipeline. He's giving Russia pipeline access while shutting down American pipelines, especially at a time Whitmer in Michigan wanted to shut down another oil pipeline. The Colonial Pipeline gets shut down. Who do these people work for? It's almost like it's amazing because I don't know if you guys have probably heard that the Democrats project. That's what they do. They'll do something and then accuse Republicans of doing it. It's all they do is project. Were they literally projecting the Russian asset thing? Were they literally agents of Russia saying like, well, don't look at us. It's Trump. He works for Russia. Meanwhile, they're the ones working for Russia.
I think it's highly probable. I mean,
not literally.
No, but I mean, it's genuinely possible. I think that if it's not Russia, it's China. I don't think that our politicians are owned by us anymore. That's my personal opinion. I know it's wonky conspiracy theory stuff, but I don't see much behavior on their part that demonstrates affinity or allegiance to this nation. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, I agree, but I don't think it's like they're owned by somebody else necessarily. Some probably are. I mean, Swalwell was hooking up with Fang Fang or whatever.
Yeah. Fang.
It's Fang Fang.
Okay.
Get your pronunciations right, you bigot.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is, now I forgot what I was going to say because what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Politicians being owned. Fang Fang. I started thinking about what was he doing with that lady?
Yeah,
I wonder if he was really.
I still want to know.
Really
I just want to see the video. I don't really.
Well, and Dianne Feinstein, right? She had that driver who was a spy or whatever. The point is, it's not that they're necessarily owned by other people. It's that they have no allegiance to us. Their allegiance is to extract value from the system, walk away, pad their bank accounts. Yep. Here's what you need to understand about Congress. These are mediocre people at best, and that's being generous, who found a way to get rich and stamp their name in the history books. They've done nothing of real merit other than convince people to vote for them or to put money behind their name so other people see them on TV. Then they become famous by virtue of winning an election. Many of them disappear. Some of them never become prominent enough, but their name is in the history book. They get that salary for a little bit. Some of them get rich off of it. Look at AOC. She's got an infinity pool. She got a Tesla. Man, she's doing really well from a bartender, ain't it?
Her abuela's not doing so hot, but
No, I think her abuela's doing really well. Apparently, she said something like they did get the money from Trump.
Oh, they did?
Something like that. I don't know. I saw an article that said that apparently Puerto Rico, her family did get the aid.
Okay.
Well, the aunt came out and spoke out against AOC, which was a huge admission and really should be talked about more because AOC was trying to, of course, exploit her poor grandmother, and it backfired so tremendously to the fact where she had to deny donations to her poor grandmother. I mean, if you're at a political point in your life where you have to say no, don't give my poor downtrodden grandmother money. Yeah, don't give my abuelita some money. I mean, that's when you know you're messing up. But
we actually do have the story though. AOC's aunt says blame Puerto Rico, not Trump, for abuela misery. Mm-hmm. Right. Puerto Rico received hurricane relief funding, but it hasn't reached all the people who need help. An aunt of New York Congresswoman claims, according to a report. So she's exploiting her family. Oh, yeah. I'm not here to rehash like some stupid AOC thing, but it is a really good example of she is the epitome of I'm the working class. I was a bartender, and the conservatives hate me for being a bartender because they're elitists, and I'm here fighting for you and parking my Tesla illegally when I go shop for some organic produce in my luxury apartment in D.C. with an infinity pool. And look at my poor abuelita. She needs your help. And then it turns out it's actually not Trump's fault at all because the aid did get there. That is exploiting and extracting value from the system. But hey, I'm not here to single out AOC. I can point the finger at each and every one of these Republicans who do literally nothing but sit on their hands.
Yep. And there was a lot of corruption in Puerto Rico, especially after a lot of money was sent from mainland United States to help with the hurricane relief there. And a lot of the Puerto Rican government officials, some of them kept that money for themselves. A lot of them even locked up huge, important resources in warehouses for themselves. So there was a huge corruption that was ultimately pointed directly at Donald Trump. And the mainstream media said, look, Donald Trump's responsible for Puerto Rico. Meanwhile, a lot of Puerto Rican politicians got caught with stealing a lot of the aid. And
did the mayor steal something?
I forgot the exact stories, but I remember seeing warehouses of water bottles that were absolutely huge, and then it never made it to people who never had running water. And that wasn't Donald Trump who did that.
And remember when Trump was throwing paper towels to people it was a sporting event?
Yes.
And they're like, what a scumbag.
Yeah. And I'm like,
he's so cavalier.
Yeah, I literally just didn't understand who cared.
Yeah, and I'm not even a Donald Trump fan. I never was a fan of his. I always criticized him. But still, when the mainstream media is so ridiculously just trying to blame everything on him, whether it's Puerto Rico, whether it's the hurricane, whether it's the abuela or whatever, grandmother, or whatever the mainstream media is against, I have to look into and investigate, because you usually see something that is not what the mainstream media says it is. And they were foaming at the mouth, going crazy for Russia for a very long time, and they were wrong when it came to the Russian collusion story that started it all, when Donald Trump came in and Russia was used as the boogeyman, as the main chief enemy of the United States. And all the information that came out eventually proved that it was all wrong. Yep. And it was all based on lies.
So why do believe anything they say about anything?
I don't.
Because the weatherman's right sometimes, so it gives credibility to the stupid news shows.
But no, I mean, we still. I got Fox News and Yahoo and The Independent pulled up, and we take these articles at their word, even though we know a good portion of the time it's bunk. Now, to be fair, I actually go through these articles for the most part and try and I pulled up Becker News, for instance, and this is it's not NewsGuard certified or anything, but there's literally a video of Joe Biden doing this. So that's something I can actually verify to a certain degree. Maybe the video is edited. I have no idea. But most of these news outlets, they come out and they talk about China. And one of the big fears I have, especially we're talking to Cassandra Fairbanks about war. What if they're just lying again? They lied about Iraq and the Middle East and WMDs. So what if they're just lying again?
I think it's a healthy development, honestly, that so many people have woken up to this reality that there is nothing trustworthy out there. I mean, you tune into Tim Pool to find out the truth more often than you do CNN, and that's the truth. I mean, most people will rely on our smaller outlets to try and get some semblance of objectivity. To
be fair, though, CNN gets hundreds of millions of views. They're propped up by YouTube.
Yep.
YouTube will put them on the front page, and we get downranked, deranked, we get hidden, we get shadow banned. People say, I don't get notifications for your show anymore. Yeah, that's right. So, you know what, man? You guys, if you're listening, you go to timcast.com, you become a member, you share this show right now. You take the URL right now, you put it on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, because there's no way for us to beat a rigged game unless everybody stands up and does something. Look, I'm not saying this is the best show in the world and I'm always right, but if you at least think we deserve more ratings than CNN, share the show.
Yep.
I'll pop on YouTube and I'll see a video frequently too, and it'll say the Fauci interview, it's the big one. It'll be some random YouTuber I've never heard of. 500,000 views.
Wow.
It is just shoved to the front. That's what they want you to see.
If you're one of these are the grifters of YouTube. Not all of them. Some of them are just dopey pop culture YouTubers. But when they get their news from fake media, lying press, all that stuff, just fake news, they believe it. And then YouTube says, hey, we'll put you on the front page if you interview Fauci. And they go, cool. And they don't know anything. Mm-hmm. It's really remarkable to me how angry so many people are on Twitter when they clearly have no idea what they're talking about. And of course, there's the left grifters who will play semantic games. Then there are these run-of-the-mill, regular lefties who just never read a news article. Mm-hmm. One day they stumble across a piece of news where it's something weird happens. They're like, that's strange. What's happening? And then they believe all of the lies. Then when people try and introduce me to a show like this, they'll say, I don't know, man, that sounds like fake news. The media told me. Brian Stelter, he was like, don't watch that YouTube. He said not to, so I'm not gonna.
Don't read the WikiLeaks. It's illegal. As CNN was telling us before a few years ago when the WikiLeaks Hillary Clinton emails were coming out, actually showing us a totally different perspective of the reality of who Hillary Clinton really was to who she was presented as in the mainstream media. You look at how Bill Gates is presented, Dr. Fauci is presented. It's like they're Lord and Saviors. It's like they're the scientists when Bill Gates is not a medical doctor or a scientist, which needs to be reiterated. And you know, truly, one of the most important things that I believe we should do, and I've been trying to do on my own independent, YouTube channel, is to try to make people critically think. Is to try to make people understand that you shouldn't believe anyone unless you do your own research, unless you do your own homework, and you get to see different perspectives and then make up your own mind on them.
You're right. But a lot of people just want to be in the tribe.
Exactly.
Well, look, man, when YouTube says, hey, we're going to put you on you want 1 million subscribers? You want to be a big famous YouTuber with the gold medal? Hey, we'll do that for you. Just agree with Dr. Fauci no matter what he says and interview him. Then the emails come out. Now what we get after the emails come out, which show, yeah, he was lying for sure, questioning whether or not his own, the NIH funding was contributing to this. It was actually suspected that may have been the case, and then publicly is like, no, it's not true, it's a lie, it's not real, no, it's the lab leak isn't true, and then his own scientists that he was consulting with believed it was possible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was like Fauci behind the scenes laughing and mocking people, talking about how smart he was and how he was manipulating everybody. But behind the scenes, he very much was holding his private positions and then publicly giving different positions.
Yeah, and if not for Rand Paul, we probably don't even know about this. I mean, we would have known about the emails, but we wouldn't have had him on the record just prior to that release where he denies it all. I thought it was profound, and these are the types of things that all of us were privy to because we do our own research. But as you were saying, people need to be more critical, and I wish they were. But the truth is, you can only lead people to water. Most don't want to drink, and I just think you have to find your own tribe.
I just got one quick caveat. I was just very, very critical of Congress. Rand Paul gets a pass.
Thank you.
He's not perfect, but he's pretty good.
He's better than most.
Yeah.
Him and Massey.
So you guys are telling me that CNN and BuzzFeed, when they said that the Fauci emails only showed how hard you work, wasn't true?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
So they leak all these emails, or they FOIA them, Freedom of Information, and then BuzzFeed's like, leaked emails show how Fauci was fighting hard to keep America stable.
He's just like us.
Oh, jeez. Frank honesty, is that what it said?
Yeah, a refreshing source of frank
that one
honesty.
journalist.
And then Fauci comes out later. He's like, if they're criticizing me, they're criticizing science. I am science. He didn't really say I am science. I am undebunkable. And then he flipped the table over.
Yeah,
he didn't really do that. They're going to call me fake news. They're going to be like, false. Did Fauci? Tim Pool lied on the show, Snopes.
Oh.
He did say the first part, though. If you criticize me, you're criticizing science.
It's true.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.